Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we are back with the Carenado M20 Mooney. This is still probably one of my favorite, if not the favorite aircraft of simple general aviation that currently exists in the simulator today. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. We're going to fly around St. Barts, try the infamous runway 10 approach, and just basically see how much we screw it up. But I want to show you guys how much fun this aircraft is and how little attention it gets. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides from Microsoft Flight Simulator, or simply interested in supporting the channel, please consider joining us on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future releases that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below.
Overkill simulations, watch us as we fly.
Alright guys, so first right out of the gate, the Carenado M20 Mooney is an absolute blast of an aircraft. It actually even has speed brakes, as silly as that sounds for general aviation. This is the first aircraft I had ever seen of its class to have any kind of speed brakes. And trust me, when you activate them, this thing falls out of the sky. But here's why I'm bringing this aircraft up. Carenado, in the community as a whole, when it comes to flight model, specifically flight model, tends to get a pretty bad rep. And myself included when it comes to comparing it to, say, something like Black Square, for example, or Just Flight, or A2A, obviously, in a whole nother level, right? But they still make very, very good aircraft for the general simmer. If you're someone who just wants to have a really gorgeous aircraft, one of the things that they absolutely shine on is their texturing work. Their texture and attention to detail artistically is absolutely on point. But their flight models are not what you would call bad, in my opinion. Are they as realistic as they could be, again, as some of those competitors that we mentioned previously? No, they're not. I would consider Carenado in a middle ground. They are definitely a balance between high quality texture, and I would actually say probably focusing more on the texture side, and then coming back into the sounds and then into the flight model. But their aircraft are still a lot of fun, you guys, and so today we're going to take the Mooney up. We're going to use the Pimax Crystal Light. We're going to fly around St. Barts and just enjoy the aircraft. I want to talk to you guys about why I have flown this aircraft so many times. I have a ton of videos where I fly this particular bird, but I never really get into detail as to why. So let's get started. Alright, so as we jump into the cockpit, we'll do everything inside of the cockpit here first, and then we'll move into virtual reality. Now, speaking of which, let me turn some lighting on. There we go. On the outside, I actually meant in my physical office, guys. But let's go ahead and get her started up. First, just like many of the Carenado aircraft, like I said, it has a bunch of features still that are available on the tablet. You still have a bunch of your static elements that you can turn on, your tow bars and things like that. You have your Garmin options here if you wish to change it. I always typically roll with the 530 when I do my videos, just because everybody has access to it. And then you have your state options if you choose. So they always have that, but what I like about Carenado's work is you still get a bunch of the exterior features and the little extra features that make it just a little bit more fun to fly. So we have the opening of the doors, lighting, and things like that. Again, the aircraft is a ton of fun. Windows and things like that, fully functional, so it makes it fun to play around with the sounds. So with that, let's go ahead and get the aircraft started up. So we're going to start with our master battery on. I've already set my altimeter to where we need to be. Let's go ahead and come upstairs and take a look at lighting. So we're going to turn those nav lights on. We're going to turn the beacon light on, let everybody know that the aircraft's getting ready to get rocking and rolling. And then let's see here, we probably won't need the fuel boost pump, but just in case, we'll have that on standby if necessary. So let's go prop to full, mixture to full, throttle cracked. Let's make sure the parking brake is set, make sure fuel is on with the left tank selected. And this is an aircraft where you do need to rotate the tanks automatically. You don't have a balancer. And so let's go ahead and get her started. Starts right up, but as you guys can hear, the sounds are on point. It's an absolutely wonderful little aircraft. Not a whole lot to it after this, guys. It's pretty short and sweet. Let's turn the alternators on, get our avionics turned on. And I believe 7,000 is what we want out here for VFR. Am I in test? Is that right? Yes, that is. Okay. It trims very nicely, flies very nicely. Taxi lights on, recog lights on. All right, with that in mind, let's go ahead and bring up the Garmin. It's set. Let's get some MEDAR information. I'm not sure what the wind is today, so let's take a look. Looks like it's coming there from the left side. Should be a 1-0. .060 at 18 knots. So yes, it'll be a 1-0 approach. Beautiful. All right, let me switch us over into the Pimax. All right, so as far as the Pimax goes, this thing has been an absolute dream to fly with so far. The Pimax Crystal Light, a link to it will be down in the description below if you guys are interested in checking it out. It is the perfect balance between the Pimax Crystal and the just standalone VR. So remember that the Crystal has things like eye tracking. It has a standalone option. It also has a required battery pack. The Crystal Light has the same resolution as the Crystal, but doesn't have any requirement as such as a battery, but it also doesn't have the eye tracking. I do believe that is an extended option, but for the most part, you're basically just getting a VR headset with great resolution field of view. She does require a little bit of horsepower to play with, so make sure that you have what you need there. Alright, let's go fly. There's the speed brakes. Whoa. And one of my favorite parts about this thing is just literally how fast this thing gets moving. There's me live. Nice. Positive rate. Oops. But it is a completely fun airplane. Alright, we're at 1,000 feet. Join the beautiful Caribbean. What more can you ask for? But anyway, so like I said, this is just, it's a fun plane. And Carenado, like I said, I don't think gets enough attention. I really don't feel like they do. It flies well, it trims well, it speeds well, it slows well, it handles perfectly great. The only thing is, like, so my hands are completely off the stick, right? I'm completely off the controls right now, guys. So as you can see, when it comes to the flight model, you don't get the turbulence, you don't get a lot of the bouncing, you don't get a lot of the shifting and impact from the wind or the environment. It sort of just flies. And you guys will see a lot of that as we come into the approach for 1-0. You know, as we come over the mountain over there or come over the hill, it should get pretty nasty, and it usually doesn't. So that is something to think about as well. If I remember correctly, a good altitude for this approach, we want to start about 1,500 feet. But like, look at that airspeed. Like, you get moving quick. And if you look at the manifold pressure and RPMs, it's not like we're pushing it very hard. We're really not. Watching those fuel tanks. We're already going to come in for the approach soon, so I'm going to rotate them. I do that all the time. Ah! Where are you going? I would say this is a great aircraft if you don't want to fight it too much. Like, if you don't want to be battling it constantly, this is a great aircraft. And because of how fast it is, it's fun to fly cross country. If you're going, you know, doing some general aviation flying, this was one of my favorite ones to do in NeoFly. NeoFly has you do a lot of, you know, bouncing around, flying around, obviously. You know, that's the whole point of it. Sort of giving you a career mode. And what I like about this one is it's fast enough, but yet small enough where you still get all the benefits of general aviation. You can see it's an analog cockpit. You don't get all the bells and whistles unless you set it to like the GTN 750, which is totally your call. But you can very easily just fly from point A to point B in this aircraft while still turning and burning, but getting that general aviation feel. All right, let's start pulling it way off. Here's those speed brakes in action. You see that airspeed just dumps. Just dumps. Bad approach. This is a cool one to do the landing here too because of those speed brakes. If you come in hot or floating, you just, like I said, you pop those puppies and you just start to fall. Oh. A little bit. Ooh. That was nasty. Whoa, that was really nasty. All right, so now we're going to pop those speed brakes, throttle off. Ooh, yeah, let's power up and go. Whoa, that was ugly. That was terrible. All right. Oh, I actually never hit the speed brakes. That's why. All right, flaps coming up. That was terrible, terrible approach. Let's try that one more time. Gosh, that was horrible. Horrible. That was terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Keep climbing out here. The 1,500 feet seemed to be a good mark for where we were. Boy, was I wrong about it not getting any turbulence or anything like that, or wind shear when we came through that threshold. Holy crap, we got beat. That was pretty rough. But again, you're still not going to get the complexity that you get with some of the other developers. But this is just a great aircraft. The other thing I really like about it, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, too, is it's very VR friendly. This aircraft is extremely VR friendly. And I think, again, that just has to do with the way the textures are made out, the fact that it's an analog cockpit. Whoa, certainly makes a big difference. Damn. Easy, easy, easy. Settle down, settle down. Why are you bouncing around so much? See if we can't just level that out now. Oh crap, I have the landing gear down. Idiot. That would explain why we weren't getting speed like I was expecting to, but I guess it works out in our favor this time. But, oops. To be honest, that last approach really scared the crap out of me. That was pretty terrible. See if we can do better on this one. Speed brakes are already out, so I'm just going to use dive angle here to sort of control that. Full flaps rolling in. Alright, I'm expecting us to get hit here in a second. Alright, airspeed's increasing. I'm pulling power off as we come across it. Damn, why is that so brutal? Oh! Damn! Oh, that was horrible. Oh my god, I should have my license stripped. Okay, so I'm not even going to try to embarrass myself for a third time in a row, but hopefully you guys get the gist. This is an absolutely phenomenal aircraft. It's a ton of fun to fly, has a ton of little features that make it even more enjoyable. It's fast, it's powerful, you can take it just about anywhere. Like I said, I did an entire career in NeoFly with this thing, and it was fun. I flew it all the way up from, starting from Tucson, Arizona, and little hops, guys. It was probably 30 videos, and worked all the way up to the far northwest corner of the United States. So it was a great aircraft to fly. I haven't been in it in a while and decided, you know what, let me give Carenado and the Mooney a little bit of love today, and hopefully you guys will add this to your hangar if you have not already. As always, folks, stay safe and healthy. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.